So let's go over the product owner. So the product owner is a person in the Scrum team that is essentially the expert of the product. They're going to be the ones that quote unquote manages the product. Now, they're not the boss. They're not above or below anyone else in the Scrum team. That's very important to understand. And the Scrum Master is the same way. No one is the leader of the team. They are all leaders in their responsibilities. So for example, the dev team are the leaders in how things are going to be coded. The product owner can't come in unless the stakeholders specifically tell them, no, it needs to be coded in like C#. The product owner has no business then of coming in and telling the dev team that it needs to be coded in anything unless the stakeholders are making it a requirement. The dev team should be respected. They should understand that whatever their choices are important, and their choices are they're the leaders of their choices. The product owner could suggest things, but the dev team has final say. Scrum Master has certain responsibilities we'll go over, and the product owner has certain responsibilities they're the leaders in. But overall, no one is the leader of anyone else. There's no one that can command anyone to do anything outside of their responsibilities. So the product owner's basic goal here is we are running a business. At some point in time, we are running a business. And that means that we are going to be trying to maximize the value of that business. So the product owner's goal is to do just that. They're maximizing the value of the product. And what does that mean? Well, that's a twofold thing. That means they need to reduce costs and they need to increase profit. So they do that by making the team more efficient to reduce the cost and finding ways to add value to increase the profit. Now, the product owner talks to the outside people. So the Scrum team will say, let's have this like imaginary line right here. The Scrum team is over here. We have the dev side and we got our Scrum Master. And of course, their communication back and forth here between everyone. But this also means that at some point there's going to be an outside influence. We're going to have ourselves called stakeholders. What are stakeholders? They're the customer. They're our boss who has a piece of, in this, he's trying to make sure that the business maybe looks good. He doesn't want you to release a poor product, so he's going to have some say in it. All of these people talk directly to the product owner. They do not talk to the dev team or the stakeholders, the Scrum Master, unless under very specific circumstances. The Scrum Master sometimes needs to fix blocks for the dev team, and therefore they may go out and try to fix those blocks. But most of the time, the product owner, especially for things like vision, where the product's going, what maybe changes that need to be made, the product owner is going to be talking to that outside influence and coming up with a plan from that. Now, the outside influence is going to basically create a plan, try to get it, the product owner is going to talk to the outside influence, kind of basically delve out a big vision, and the product owner needs to be trained in how to ask questions to get where the vision's going, and then he's going to create an open, healthy product backlog. What is that? An open, healthy product backlog is an idea or a set of things that need to be done to reach that vision. What happens next is we go into our sprint planning. The dev team will look at that healthy backlog, and they're going to make a sprint to help us reach that vision through the backlog. So essentially, you're going to have 3 steps here of creating this. You're going to have yourself a vision, which gets created down into the product backlog, which the dev team then takes and divvies up into sprints. So that's kind of how the idea of a vision gets implemented. Those sprints then create the product increment and so forth and so on. And then it keeps going around in circles until we reach the vision. So that's the idea of what the product owner is trying to do. He's trying to be that first step. Take it from whoever has the vision to build into a product backlog. Now, he's also going to be the guy who answers product-related questions. If someone has any questions about the product owner knows everything about the product. He's going to be the guy who maintains responsibility over the knowledge of the product. And of course, if he can't answer a specific question, he'll ask his dev team or the Scrum Master to help out, and then he'll re-answer those questions. Now, this is the previous one. He's going to communicate with the stakeholders and the dev team about what he wants, what he needs accomplished, etc., how we're going to reach the vision. He's going to do things like manage budgets, release dates. He's going to create graphs. He's going to try to maximize the value of every sprint, meaning that let's say that the dev team has started to slack off a little bit. He has graphs now to prove that, the velocity's slowing down, things are taking longer. He's going to ask the Scrum Master to maybe help him with this because the Scrum Master is kind of, trying to facilitate things and make sure the team's happy and productive. But as a product owner, it's also his responsibility to figure out why is the team slowing down, or at least to analyze that the team is slowing down and to call a meeting to help mitigate that. So that's part of the product owners too, is he's managing that budget. He's trying to figure out how do we lower costs and increase profits, and why is my team slowing down? Which comes to the next point. He's ensuring the value of the team. He needs to make sure his team is valuable. Maybe they're slowing down because technology is outdating them. Maybe they need some training. The technology is moving, and they're spending so much time learning this new technology on the fly instead of maybe spending a week sitting down in a course, getting them back up to speed, and then they're productive again. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe there's a weakness in the team that he needs to analyze and try to figure out where the weakness is. Remember how I said the dev team should have sort of full stack engineers? Maybe they're lacking in one of the stacks. Maybe their back end is really poor, or the front end is pretty bad, and they need some training to help get that up. Or maybe they need a dedicated, remember we don't like dedicated in here, but maybe they need a very experienced developer, front end developer to be hired in to help out with that stuff, and then to train the rest of them so they can all be at the same point. So they need to ensure the value of the team, and in all capacities of what that means. They need to provide feedback at various levels. They need to be telling their stakeholders if they ever ask what's going on. They need to tell the dev team they're doing a good job or a poor job. They need to talk to the Scrum Master so that he understands where the essentially the progress is, and so he can fix that. And then he needs to respect commitments. He needs to make sure that if he sets a goal, and he needs to set very fair goals, the dev team needs to trust him to set fair goals, and if he's not, needs to bring it up in the courage part of things in the sprint retrospective, that these goals are a little bit ambitious and we need to back it off or add more people or something like that. But he needs to try to respect those commitments as much as possible. He needs to figure out, if we're behind, how do we get not behind? Is there something we can strike from the board so that we can go a little faster? Do we need to work a little extra? Maybe we need to, take a little bit time out of our lunch breaks, or maybe there are too many meetings slowing us down, and we need to figure out a way to move forward quicker and faster to respect those commitments. The product owner is going to be the one trying to figure those things out and then introducing them as ideas in meetings to the dev and Scrum Master to make the sprint better in the future and to maximize the value of the product. So overall, that is your goal, or that is your idea of a product owner. He is maintaining the vision of the product and the product itself. And at the end of the day, he's the guy who is going to be running the numbers, analyzing the budget, talking to people, and just getting the entire product to continually move forward. Now, next, we're going to talk about the other two roles here, and you're going to see how they all link together.